Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Wizards Outlook. Got Carter Dudley Jr., Raymond Lyons, Wilson Tarpe Jr. And look at this, the Washington Wizards made it 2 in a row, winning back-to-back games. They beat the Brooklyn Nets 123-122. Several things that we discussed after the win over Minnesota in terms of what needed to be done going forward with the schedule, kind of, the uptick in the schedule in terms of the type of opponents. And they got some of those things done. Cardell, we'll start with you tonight. And then Ray, give your initial thoughts on the game.
This was a great win. Obviously, this showed not just us, but it should show them what's more important, that they can compete with any team in the league if you play defense. That's the common thing for these two wins, is that they've been playing defense for stretches and giving themselves a chance to win. And their defense has been feeding their offense. It takes pressure off guys to they don't have to play hero ball and try to make a lot of tough shots when you're getting stops. I mean, forcing 20 turnovers on the Brooklyn Nets with all that talent over there, especially those two all-world scorers and playmakers, I mean, that's impressive in itself. And they scored 23 points off that. That's what you have to do. You know what I mean? Brad Beal, I mean, the way he's playing right now, he's going to be starting an all-star game. I mean, geez, both ends, playmaking, scoring. I mean, he's been damn near perfect, to start the season. Seriously, it's just, and Thomas Bryant, the way he's elevated his game, where he's damn near averaging like 20 and 10, consistently, man. It's just, it's great to see, man. But it comes back to the defense. We all said at the beginning of we're doing training camp in the preseason before the season started, that we felt this could be a playoff team if they correct the defensive mistakes from last year. If they come together, first 5 games, it was non-existent. And then they get in a hole, and you start to see with these last 2 games, because they're desperate, and it's just like, all right, we got to take responsibility. And they feel the pressure. They come together, and you see what's happening, man. As long as they continue to defend, they're going to win their fair share of games and be doing like what we expected them to do. But it shouldn't had to come to this, so it makes it even more frustrating. It shouldn't just be their second win of the season out of 7, you know what I mean? But all in all, great win. I love how they were aggressive on offense. They didn't settle for a bunch of threes. I know they shot 36%. They shot 33, but they got to the line a lot. And normally they don't get to the line about 34 times, man. You know what I'm saying? It's few and far between. Bill may get to the line about 9 to 10 times a game, but the rest of the team don't. And doing that put a lot of pressure on the Nets, where Steve Nash had to make some adjustments with his roster and stuff, and it caused mismatches. And the Wizards got what they needed to get done. 58 points in the paint. I can't remember the last time the Wizards did that. That's just, that's impressive, man. But that's the Rui effect, man. That's them driving, drawing defenders, giving it to Thomas Bryant and Duncan. You'd be surprised, man. It's just, they just finding a way, man. They're working with what they have, and they're finding a way. And that's what's most impressive. So, yeah, I'm happy for them. And for all the people that were saying, fire Scott Brooks, which is lazy. I'm tired of people always looking at the coaches. When the players play well, they tend to be like, look at me. It's my greatness and it's my talent. Well, when you effing up, we need look at the players as well. It's not always the coach. He had them in a position to win. They didn't close out, but now they starting to figure things out. They're starting to, like Scott Brooks said, they're starting to figure out how to win. And this is what's necessary. So great win. See how it goes moving forward.
Right.
Yeah, big time win, man. Like it was impressive, all things considered, given they're playing one of the teams that are expected to be around, late when when championship time comes. It's it's good to be able to pull this one out. Like Cardell said, the turnovers, that's what basically won them the game. The turnovers and their points off. They ended up with 23 more field goal attempts than Brooklyn, and they got to the line more, which is rare for them. They were aggressive, they were attacking. They were hunting mismatches on the block. A lot of times for some reason, Kyrie ended up on bigs. And they saw it and they went to it. They went right to it and led to a lot of easy baskets, which they outscored Brooklyn in the paint by 20. And they're usually the ones getting outplayed down low. So, it's good to see those tables turn and see them compete. Thomas Bryant, man, he was huge tonight, as he has been throughout the entire season so far. He needs to be in the running for most improved if he continues this, because he's key for them, and even though they had that 5-game skid to start the season, he was the reason why they were being competitive in a lot of those games, and as an undersized 5, he's just fighting and clawing and scratching every possession, and a lot of times he's the only person taking pride on the defensive side. So yeah, man, he deserves a lot of credit. He needs to be talked about. Their offense, I mean, we already know what it is on that end. They could score with anybody. But the way they competed tonight against, a team as talented as Brooklyn and was able to close the game out and get the win, that speaks volumes for where they've come, so far, even in the young season. Like, this is a game that they would have lost a week ago, if we've been honest. They typically find a way to give these ones up, but they close this one out, even though Brooklyn, their 2 best players missed 2 pretty good looks to close out the game. But even still, to get to that point, Washington, they dug in and closed the game off with a defensive rebound by Thomas Bryant, and also he had a key offensive rebound to get them extra possession at the end as well. So, man, if they just keep fighting like this and putting things together, then they'll be all right, man. This is a good win for them. It should help them mentally, it should help their confidence moving forward. And they beat a top tier team in the league. It's and that should let them know, like Cardell said, they shouldn't feel overmatched or overpowered by any team they go out there against, if they do the right things and compete how they competed tonight. So yeah, man, good win. Great win. Those guys get some rest because they earned it. And hopefully they can just keep this momentum going.
Yeah, just to echo what you guys were saying, TB, he made DeAndre and Jared Allen pay for it. Both of those guys like the way they protect the paint. They like to go hunting for block shots. His ability to be able to stretch out the floor. They paid for it several times where they almost ignored him in the corner. Took forever to close out. And, if you're ignoring him to that regard, it's allowing him to hit the offensive glass. And, he only had 2 offensive rebounds. One of them was the biggest of the game, literally at the end of the game. That tap out, you don't get that. That's a different story right there. And then his activity, what he had, I think 14 boards tonight. They won the edge on the glass 59-55 against a team that doesn't exactly struggle with they don't have any length or height issues in Brooklyn. They have more than enough in terms of footers and whatnot, close to it, athletic bigs. And that was huge. It's not like Washington shot the ball spectacularly this evening. It was the little things we've been, just nagging about, every night that you guys tune in. And those were the things that got them the dub tonight. You mentioned Brad. Cardell, it was huge. 2 blocks tonight. Just not leaving Thomas to be the only person to try and protect the rim. Like, y'all athletic as on the offensive end when you want to get a bucket. You can use it on the other end too. You got energy for 15 move step backs and mixes and I'm not knocking that, but we saw tonight when you use that power for good on the other side, it pays off. And this is the second game, and I saw some folks on Twitter, trying to talk bad about Rui with being on an island against KD. Where y'all favorite player on an island, there's nothing you can do about it. So y'all got to stop it. Secondly,
at least he had the guts to get out there. I ain't gonna say no names.
Another day. What I like that he's brought to the table, all y'all that were complaining about last year, him needing to shoot the 3, and I love what TB brings to the table. But Rui's the perfect complement. He's the one dude in the front court that can legitimately operate on the block, and it raises hell for opposing teams. That's 2 games in a row. They're allowed to hunt mismatches, and it causes doubles. It's giving those shooters cleaner catches, cleaner looks. Closeouts are a little bit further away because once he gets the ball down there and it's bully ball time. He's not thinking of kicking it out like he's going to kill you. He's looking for blood unless you make him give it up. And even some of the passes he made out the doubles, a couple that weren't the greatest of passes, but again, he's a willing passer out the double. It gives them an added dimension that they sorely lacked. The first, what was it, 4 or 5 games without him? Yeah, first 5 games without him. So it was huge. Just little things like that. And like you guys said, it's one game. And then my biggest thing is looking at this effort right here. This has to be the benchmark going forward. You can't give us anything less than this defensively going forward, or we'll be right back here, because you prove that you can do it. Now, that's not to say that, yes, did Kyrie and Kevin get great looks? They did. But you worked hard enough throughout the course of the game to give yourself an opportunity, and that's that. All those little things, if you didn't do that, even it would you would have been in trouble before it would even come down to them having those last shots. Game could have been over already. Especially on the possession when TB kept it alive, I think a couple plays before Brad drives and a drop off to him. It's huge just having him there. And I'm interested in seeing with teams that do switch a lot. It's gonna help Washington out. It was fun to see Russ kind of go on the block and get his legs underneath him a little bit too. But again, it was just the defense and it was the little things tonight for me. You guys had anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, just to piggyback off what you were saying as far as the little things. I think the bench brought that. I think this is the first game where the bench showed up. Or like everybody on the bench. They outplayed the Nets bench, which we have one of the best bench in the league. They outscored them 33-30. That was big and determined this game. Normally, you might have 1 or 2 guys that do something. Bertans may hit a few threes. Maybe if Russ playing, Raul will get some buckets or something like that, or Troy. But it's never consistent. You might just have 2 or 3 guys that show up. This game, it was about 4 or 5, and they need everything that they had, man. And also, I'm gonna give the Wizards coaching staff a great some props, man, because people not talking about this enough. The wins, I watched the Nets in the last couple games against the Hawks, and one thing I'm noticing, teams are attacking Kyrie crazy with one of their guards. I know Trae Young went at him hard, and it fatigued Kyrie where he couldn't shoot at the end of the game. He couldn't close out. And I think teams starting to see that's something that they can attack. Not saying he's scared or he's not holding his own on defense or whatever, but fatigue is fatigue. And you know what I mean? Late in the game when they need a big shot or whatever, he's been missing or whatnot, or he's been inefficient scoring his 25 to 30 points, which is what you want. That's all you can hope for against a player as great as Kyrie. And I think that's what they saw because they was trying to cause mismatch, like you said, with Rui on him. They was trying to cause mismatch with Bill, pick and roll, trying to get him on the island. And then Russ took him down low late, like they was punishing him. They was going at him. And it paid off a lot. You know what I mean? Like he was unable to close, and that's big, man. I know a lot of people feel like great scorers. They try to give great scorers a pass on not playing defense or making an impact on that and talking about, well, they get tired late in the game. Like, fool, you supposed to be tired. Like, that's called competing. Like, what are you conserving energy for? You know what I'm saying? That's why you say that's why it's game after you can go to bed and you can be okay. But I think they saw that they try to put them in mismatches all day because you notice when Kyrie kind of goes out the game, it's not the same flow offensively. And that's the way you can kind of get at the Nets, man. At least right now until they figure that out. Because I think they missed Dinwiddie bad because it seemed like when he got towards ACL and they've been the same since, he was kind of, I know Steve Nash was kind of using him as the second unit starting point guard, floor general, getting everybody involved. They don't have that no more. I think they're trying to get Bill LeVert up for that, but LeVert's a scorer. He's more of like a 2-guard, off-guard guy that can bring it up, but he's not a natural facilitator right now. And they got to figure that out because, Kyrie obviously can't play 48 minutes a game and just not get any rest. That's just going to be, detrimental to the Nets long term. So kudos to them for that means they watching film and they paying attention. But that's the league, man. The league is ruthless, man. They going to find something. And if you don't correct it or deal with it, it's going to look bad.
Right.
Something you said, Wilson, like use this as the benchmark moving forward. Like this has to be the bare minimum acceptable effort, like honestly, because without it's going to go back to the first 5 games of the season. It doesn't take much. I mean, it does take much, but it's competing on defense is just it should be the standard, you know, like you can't just come out there and do anything and just expect to outscore people. Like it doesn't work that way. A game like this, they needed it. You know, like they caused 20 turnovers, won the rebound battle, destroyed them in the paint, and they won by 1 point. You know, any less effort, they lose this game. So, and again, this is one of the top teams of the league. So if they give this effort against them, and then you know they play some of those middle of the road guys, the game becomes a little easier because every team doesn't have players like KD and Kyrie where things get rough. They can just go to them and they pretty much can get a bucket whenever they feel like it. So when you're playing a team that don't have that and you strap in that way, then you suffocate them. And you know, and like Cardell brings up all the time, the defense feeds into the offense. You get turnovers, you get runouts, you get rebounds and easy baskets. You know, and then things just get going downhill for you. So yeah, man, I think they should play this tape every day in film session just to remind them, hey, this is what you're capable of, and this is what we need if we plan to be successful. So yeah, man, it's I think seeing a game like this, it rekindles some of that cautious optimism we had, you know, in those preseason games when they competed well. You know, this is what they're capable of, and this is what they need to bring every night. You know, and if they do, they will have one of those top 8 playoff spots. Like I don't see a reason why they wouldn't. So yeah, man, good win. It was nice to watch a Wizards game that wasn't painful. You had to force your way through it. But yeah, man, good win, and you know, hope to see this from them, you know, more often than not.
Yeah, and they got a little bit of time. Then I think the next game they take on the Celtics. The two Jays.
Sixers.
Sixers.
Take on the Sixers Wednesday, then the Celtics Friday, then they got the Heat the very next day here at home Saturday. So it's about to get real. We're gonna see. We're gonna see
again,
real quick.
Going back to what you guys were just mentioning, if this isn't the prerequisite effort defensively, these next 4 teams, it's gonna be tough.
And the Suns on Monday. Ooh.
Again.
Ooh. So they got the Sixers, Celtics, Heat, and Suns in about a 5-day span.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough.
No, 6-day span. My bad. That's a 6-day. Ooh. Hey man, eat that Wheaties, baby. You gotta eat those Wheaties, baby. Stay ready.
And like if they come out of a stretch like that, 500, I'm kind of okay with that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like as long as they competing and doing what they need to do, like it's especially with this condensed schedule, like that's what you basically can expect, you know, from being given an honest evaluation of where they at right now. Like that's all I ask. They just gotta compete every night. And whatever happens, then I can live with that.
All right, so pretty much going forward during this wild stretch that Cardell just laid out, keep the turnovers down like tonight. Keep hustling on the defensive end, and you know it puts yourself in a good position. You know, and that's all you can ask for. We'll see how everything plays out. We will see you guys next Wizards game. Before then, see you Tuesday. Focus resumes to the first Focus show of the 2021 calendar year. We'll be Tuesday. You guys have a great night.